So in this Fallout 76 video, I'm going to be sharing with you all some amazing news that made my day hearing about this. Hopefully this is something new to you and it makes your day as well. Before I get into this though, real quick, if you do find this enjoyable, consider leaving a like on it. It'd be awesome if we can get this video to surpass, I don't know, 700 likes or something. I know that's a lot to ask for, but I think we can do it. The support here lately over my Fallout 76 content has been amazing. Seriously, can't thank you all enough. The watch time, the likes, the comments, it's just all been super engaging from you guys. Really do appreciate it. But yeah, I'm going to be starting this off here with some great news about the future of Fallout 76. The reason why I want to cover this is because I know a lot of players are experiencing crashes, unfortunately, and this is some promising news that developers shared with a guy who was interviewing some Fallout 76 developers, the creative director John Rush and the production director Bill Lacoste. So in this interview, they actually talked about that they do have plans to make Fallout 76 a new generation game for like PS5 and the Xbox One X and S. And, you know, of course, PC too, with better graphics, optimization, and stuff like that. When I heard about this, I was, dude, it brought a smile to my face. I was so happy about this. There's not a confirmation of when this will be coming, but they do have plans for this, so I don't know. It could be coming out sometime in 2026. But yeah, check this out though.
Yeah, John said we think about this stuff well ahead of time, and it takes a good bit of time to build out certain pieces of content. So we are in development a year and a half, depending on the size of the content sometimes. So those are planned out well ahead.
Just because I want to get your feedback on this, like you're one of the few games as a service that have transcended through console generations. Mm-hmm. Like, what's that been like from moving from the Xbox, One X or to the Series X? Or the PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5.
I can't give you any dates on anything like that, and I can't give you any dates, but I will say that is in the plans for us to have a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series S and X version. And yeah, just keep on expanding because we want to make sure that we're also keeping up with the tech that's available to us and making the game, like you said, look better, play better, be faster, all that stuff, and be more optimized. So yeah, those are in the plans.
Can you kind of paint a picture of like how much work goes into that? Because I think a lot of people just think it's a switch you flip. Oh, everything's next gen now. You just hit the switch, update all the things to 4K, you're done. But I'm sure that it's much more intuitive than that. I'm sure.
I wish it was just doing a drop down and saying, hey, build this out for PS5 or Xbox Series S and X. It's not. There's a lot of tech that goes into it. One of them being, for example, we were on DX11 or DirectX 11 for a long time. We're now updating to DirectX 12. So there's a lot of things that happen there. There's shaders that get changed, or just elements of the game that don't look right when they're rendering out with DX12. So we have to make sure that we're going through that and looking at all parts of the game. So it's just a process. It's what I define it as overly difficult. Not necessarily overly difficult, but there are this game is very big. So making sure that the game is running the way it's supposed to run and is looking the way it's supposed to look, and making sure that we're just addressing all the areas that need to be addressed for the next or the current gen consoles is just, I would say it's just a long checklist of stuff. So we'll get there. So just stay tuned.
We're in the reads here now, so I have to ask because we're in the reads now. Like, is it difficult with technology like evolving so quickly every year? There's new GPU, there's new hardware, software to utilize, there's more tools for your toolbox, more toys for your toy box. Is it tempting to be like, let's rebuild this from the ground up? Or are you just like, no, we have to try to implement it in what we've already built?
Yeah, I think, for us, because we've got a live service game that John's talked about and I've talked about as being something we have plans for years, we're not in a rush necessarily to do it, but there are times where we try to figure out what is the best time to do that kind of upgrade for us. And so we've got that planned out, and we'll just stay tuned on when that's happening. So
that's some promising news, right? They do have plans to have a next-gen version of Fallout 76 also, eventually. Of course, you'll still be able to play on the old consoles too, but they will be making a version specifically for next-gen consoles. So yeah, pretty awesome. Which, by the way, if you want to check out this full interview, I'll have a link down below in the description to the full video. Big thanks to Shacknews Interviews for interviewing John Rush and Bill Lacoste and asking the big questions and getting some big answers from them. Which, by the way, that's who interviewed these developers. He goes by Shacknews Interviews. So yeah, feel free to check them out. I'll have a link down below once again in the description to the full interview. But now I want to get into something else though. As some of you may know, I've covered this news in the past plenty of times, but the developers also did announce there is going to be the biggest update ever, keyword ever, to Fallout 76 at the end of this year, around when the second season of the Fallout TV show will be coming out. So I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be. Those are some big words to announce in that interview. But what I haven't shared, he actually doubled down, the developer who did talk about that, which was the creative director John Rush. He did announce that, and he was with Bill Lacoste, the production director, as well, just like in the interview I just showed you. And he actually just recently announced that again. As you see here, a guy that goes by Gathalion on Twitter said 76 is supposed to get its largest update ever this winter. Tall order considering the impact of Wastelanders and the land expansion of Skyline. My guess is map expansion, rumor is Ohio plus crossplay. And yeah, I did mention how we could be going to Ohio because in the PTS recently, they did add an extension to the bridge that crosses over to Ohio, the Silver Bridge at Point Pleasant. If you want to check out that video, I'll have a link down below in the description to it. I literally just made that yesterday. But yeah, as you see though, John Rush did reply to this tweet saying the biggest update to Fallout 76 ever. He literally said it again, guys. He is meaning those words. He just said it again for the second time, even, after he just said it during that interview, which I also go over that interview in the video that I'm talking about, showing off the, extension to the Silver Bridge. It's like they're reconstructing it right now in the PTS and making an extension over to the other side of Point Pleasant across the Ohio River, which could be leading into Ohio, which is my home state where I reside in. So I'm freaking excited about that. That did get me excited that we could be going over to Ohio in Fallout, dude. That's amazing. But yeah, now I want to get into what I believe Bethesda accidentally leaked into the public test server because, well, they don't seem like they have their correct skins at the moment. And, they just came out of nowhere, Like, these look exactly like future raid weapons. You'll see what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and hop into the public test server. Alright, so here I am in a public test server, and check this out, guys. If we go up to a weapons workbench right now in the PTS and go to unlockable, there's some weapons that we can see that will be coming in the future. It seems like these will be a part of a raid because they are 4-star legendaries with some powerful effects. Starting off here within the melee sharp weapons, we can find this weapon called Tempest. Now, I believe this is just a skin for this weapon. I don't know if this is going to be what the weapon actually looks like because there is the gutter too, which is something we can get from the daily ops. But as you can see here for the Tempest weapon, what this does is damage increases up to 130% as health decreases. It also has plus 40% weapon speed, plus 3 strength, plus 10% damage per onslaught stack with plus 10 of max stacks. And it also has heavy bleed damage over time on contact too. So yeah, pretty powerful, especially for a one-handed melee weapon like that. Anyways, carrying on here, if we go down to the ranged machine guns, there's also some powerful things that will be coming in the future in this category too, such as this right here called the Chaos Engine. That name just sounds freaking powerful. But yeah, as you can see here, what this does is plus 1 projectiles with plus 75% damage, so it's a 2-shot. Also has plus 50% limb damage, plus 15% reload speed. When reloading, emit a shockwave that stuns nearby targets for 3 seconds. Also, projectiles apply cryo to first slow targets and then explosive to damage them. Target takes 100 action points damage for 5 seconds. Target movement speed reduced by 35% for 5 seconds. Chaos Engine cryogenic grenade explode for 43.5 damage. Creates 15 Chaos Engine explosive grenades on impact. And Chaos Engine explosive grenade explodes for 43.5 damage too. So yeah, quite a bit there that this Chaos Engine does. My goodness, this thing just seems so OP. But it does just look like an ordinary weapon. I don't know if they have plans to reskin this to be unique. But yeah, this is what it looks like currently. But the effects on this is amazing. Anyways, carrying on down here in this same category, we got this submachine gun. Look at this 10mm. It has the vampire's effect on it. Projectiles also explode for 20% weapon damage. When reloading, gain plus 500 to all resistances. Wow. When a combat target is burning, deal plus 50% bonus damage. Also, it has plus 25% armor penetration and damage per onslaught stack plus 10 max stacks. It doesn't say the exact percentage. I'm assuming it's going to be like 10% though. Just like the Tempest that had plus 10% damage too. So yeah, that is the new weapons. Now there are some new effects too we're going to be able to use. Let's go over to a Tinker's Workbench here. And we're going to go down to the 4-star legendary mods here. There's quite a bit of different new ones, such as right here, Brutalist. Each kill gives plus 1 strength for 5 minutes, max of 10. What? That sounds cool. Next up here is Crusaders. +1 special point for each equipped armor piece, up to +5 on full stack. Amazing. So now we don't need unyielding, y'all. Anyways, moving down here, there's Metabolic. All chems, serums, bobbleheads, and magazine buffs last 5% longer, up to 25% on full stack. So if you have this effect on other pieces, you can get to up to 25% longer. That's nice. Carrying on down here to Overloaders, +10% chance to trigger an EMP pulse when hit, up to 50% on full stack, dealing 50 energy damage to nearby enemies for 5 seconds. I don't know. I guess that could be useful. I don't really prefer this one, but hey, this is a new one too that's coming out. Anyways, carrying on here, down to Rebounders. This is nice. Return 10% of ballistic and explosive damage received from enemy target back towards them, up to 50% on full stack. Now that is interesting, especially if you're playing as a tank build. I would love to see how this is utilized in the future. That's stacked with some perk cards too that help reflect shots. Dude, you're going to be tanking so easily. Anyways, carrying on down here to Ruiners. Single shot weapons have a 5% chance to deal an additional 500 damage for every 5 luck. What the heck, guys? That's also just an interesting effect. That could really help. That could really help, but you know, it all depends. Personally, I wouldn't risk this, but hey, I mean, who knows? I just guess I have to see this more in action and how much it actually triggers. Anyways, carrying on down here to Satiated. Hunger and thirst fill with each kill. So if you want to keep your hunger and thirst up, you just take out enemies. It's interesting. You don't have to eat or drink. Anyways, carrying on here to Sightseers. +50% range and damage when aiming down sights. It's nice. That's quite a bit of an extra boost of damage right there. I personally don't really aim down sights all that much. I usually use VATS and stuff, but hey, you know, some people have different playstyles. Anyways, carrying down to Stagger Proof now. +15% chance to not stagger from any damage types. Up to 80% with a full stack. I don't know. I really wouldn't use this all that much. Just me personally, but you know, once again, it all depends on people's playstyles. This is meant for power armor, as you see at the bottom down there. Anyways, lastly here we have Voltaic. Sprinting builds up a charge and releases an EMP shockwave when you stop that stuns, and deals energy damage to nearby enemies. Pretty freaking sweet. So yeah, quite a bit of different new 4 stars coming, but that's not all. If we go over to an Armor's Workbench, there's also a 4-star armor too that's coming. And then go to Secret Service armor and crafting here. And check this out. There's now something called Secret Settler armor. I'm not exactly sure what this is all going to be about. Maybe it's going to be something new within like the new expanded area, or we get this from some kind of raid or something. But as you see, here's what they do. Returns 25% of damage received from an enemy back towards them. Grants up to 35 energy resistance and damage resistance to lower your health. Receives 7% less explosion damage, plus 15% limb damage resistance. Health regenerates slowly, plus 1 health per second, up to plus 5 health per second on full stack. It's nice. And this one gives you plus 10% scope stability, the left arm. The left leg will give you negative 10% action point cost for sprinting. The right arm will give you plus 10% scope stability. The right leg will give you negative 10% action point cost for sprinting. And the torso will give you reduced incoming explosive damage by 50%. And the helmet, lastly, will give you return 25% of damage received from an enemy back towards them. So this helmet is way better than the Secret Service helmet. This thing only prevents damage and disease from airborne hazards. And I'm pretty sure you're going to need the helmet if you want the full set bonus, because it does state 0 out of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for the helmet. So yeah, you will be needing to wear the helmet as well. Either way, the helmet is freaking awesome. Return 25% of damage received from an enemy back towards them. So heck yeah, that is some new things that went under the radar in the public test server. The developers added that we could see. It seems like this might have been accidental because at the moment we can't get these. We can only see them within the unlockables. We can't like play with these new weapons or this new armor set quite yet. We're going to have to unlock the plans and stuff to be able to use them. But yeah, guess that's wrapping up this video, everyone. Hope you all found this enjoyable. I'm out of here though. As always, most importantly, appreciate you all taking the time, watching and listening. Until next time, peace.